Right.
So, what would you say to a person who's newer to entrepreneurship and let's say they're struggling? What would you say to your previous self to give them some encouragement?
Get outside of your box,
Mm.
right? Like get away from being behind a computer screen or a phone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Health Transformers. I'm Becky Longacre. I'm your nurse gone health coach. And today I am very happy to be talking with Kelly Mank today. She is the executive director for BNI Maine. That is one of six businesses that she owns and operates. And I'm going to be interviewing her today to talk a little bit about the common denominators of success, family happiness, even self-care, time management, and how did she come to be where she is? Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So, how did you come to be an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's probably a much longer story than what this interview is going to be. But short story is I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family. I was always very encouraged to kind of go with ideas.
Mm,
Something really strange about me, though, is I was never necessarily hyper focused into one category. So it wasn't, there was no industry or specific area that I wanted to be. I just knew I wanted to be a business owner growing up. And it's weird because all six of our businesses are very different.
mhm.
And we even just broke into a brand new market, but I don't put any type of restrictions on myself. Like if an opportunity is there, if the wind blows the right way, whatever it is, it's going to be fun, it's going to be challenging. And we know, Niels and I together know that we love owning businesses. We love what it does for the community. Anything we can do to help small businesses is really great. But there was no, I didn't become an entrepreneur because I lost a job or, for lots of the stories that we hear, I kind of was, I evolved into being, an
Yeah.
entrepreneur from when I was very, very young. I did all the things at an early stage that, if I looked back or my parents looked back, they're like, oh, she's going to own her own businesses. Look at that girl out with that lemonade stand,
Mhm.
or look at that girl out selling cookies, whatever it was. It was always something that, I took an idea, I ran with it, and let's see what happens.
Right. And so you're tapping into the idea a little bit of mindset, like, because you just said that I don't really have limitations on myself. So we can jump to that question. So, in terms of mindset, how important do you think it is to have a solid, happy, healthy mindset? And what does that look like?
I think it's everything, to be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, I think that you can wake up in the morning and you can be excited about the day. You can be excited about the challenges. You can look at even negative things as learning opportunities, or you can wake up in the morning and say, today is going to be awful and I hate everybody and why am I here? So I think that every day has to be some version of a positive mindset.
Mhm.
And to reach levels of success, however you define success, to
Mm.
reach levels of success, they go hand in hand with what your mindset is. So if you think you can do it, guess what? You can do it.
Yeah.
If you think, hey, this is going to be a challenge, or this is going to be hard, or I don't think I can do this, guess what? You're probably not going to be able to do it.
Right.
So there is a level, I get a lot of feedback about this, and there is a level of reality.
Mm.
And, am I going to be able to break a world record running a mile? Nope.
Mhm.
But I know that. Would I love to? 100%. But, there is that level of reality.
Mm.
However, if you think you can, you can. And we've heard that so many times and it sounds cliche, but I'm a true believer in that.
Yeah, yeah. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right.
Yes.
Yep,
It's a famous
100%.
quote right there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, what was it like when you first started out versus now? So, that's like a big, big, open-ended, big scope question. So, you can answer that however you like.
I mean, everything, well, there's a couple different areas that I'd probably like to hit on this. You can talk about time, you can talk about money, and you can talk about opportunity. So, time, I can remember my first couple of years in business, owning one company, being so busy,
Yeah.
having no time for anything, running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And now I look back and I'm like, what was I actually doing?
Mm,
And I think that's really important. Niels and I we have a coaching business and we work with a lot of couplepreneurs. And one of the biggest things that we focus on is what do you spend your time doing? Are you communicating and doing the things that each of you should be doing to be as effective and as efficient as possible? So I think, from when I started out to now, I have time management much more under control.
nice.
I have more time now with six businesses than I think I ever had with one business.
Hmm.
And that's not me saying go out and start a million businesses by any means, but that is me saying, what are you doing with that time? We all have the same amount of hours and minutes and seconds in a day. How do we use that time?
Yeah.
And that's important. Track it. Something as simple as taking 1 week and writing down what you do literally every minute and going back and revisiting that is so powerful because
Hmm.
you'll see, oh my gosh, I lost 4 hours a day watching TV, or I lost
Mm,
4 hours a day on Facebook scrolling. But
yeah.
you got to be super honest with yourself. And sometimes that's the hardest part.
Mm,
And then like I'll bounce over to money, right? So whenever we start a business or we're just starting out, finances are always tough. And we're either having to borrow money from somebody, get a loan from someone, or we're trying to do it ourselves and use the money that we're making to build the business.
hmm.
There's no right or wrong answer. They all could work. You just have to be smart with what you're doing with those expenses. I had a
Hmm.
conversation last night with somebody who's in a very seasonal business. All of their money comes in the summer for the most part. And then come like February, they're out of money.
Mm,
It's like you have to be able to take that amount of money that you make and know you're spreading that all year long. And you're going to be spending a lot more in February, March, and April than you are in the summer
hmm.
because you're doing more marketing. Like there's a lot of different ways to think about money and it just depends on each person's business. But at the end of the day, you can't give up at the first scary instance of, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money. My dad used to tell me, and I tell this to my daughter, I tell this to my clients, I tell it to my colleagues, if you ever have a day where you're like, "Ugh, I just don't know how I'm going to make it financially, put a suit on. Go
Mm,
to work in a suit. If you take yourself more seriously, the world's going to take you more seriously. And if you dress for the part, guess what? The world's going to put you in that part.
hmm.
And it happens.
Hmm.
Right. And I know that sounds crazy when you're talking like real finances, and we can get really deep into finances,
Hmm.
but it's something that scares so many of us, and we lose so many opportunities because at the first possibility that something could go wrong,
Hmm.
people are ready to walk away.
Hmm.
And going from 20 years ago to now, I've never been that kind of person, but I've seen too much of it.
Hmm.
So it's a little scary. And then what was the third one we were going to talk about? There was time, there was
It was
finances.
time blocking, mindset, finances, and then like the common denominators of success, and then putting it all together in terms of, running businesses and also self-care and also family time and all that.
So one
So,
of the biggest common denominators that I can tell you,
Yeah.
Not to interrupt you, but one of
Yeah.
the biggest common denominators that we have in all of our businesses and what we train is relationships over transactions.
Mm.
It doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you know you're doing the right thing.
Hmm.
And building the relationships, whether that's with clients who are going to actually pay you, so end users, whether it's with vendors, whether it's with your employees, your staff, your team, your 1099s, however you do that. Even
Hmm.
if it's with your mailman, right? Or if it's with the person who drops off your UPS boxes. The relationships that you're building as a business owner are what is going to control
Mm.
your success. And I mean, I had somebody tell me the other day, why do you care what your relationship is like with your mailman? I'm like, well, first of all, I'm human. Okay. I
Mm.
love talking to the people who bring me my mail. Like, I
Hmm.
have great relationships with my postmaster and everything. I said, but secondary, like, when something goes wrong and you really need something and it's coming by mail, they're much more apt to help you out if you're willing to help them out. Right.
Mm.
So there's that push, there's that give and take relationship.
Hmm.
So, I am the last person to want the transaction. I am the first person to want the relationship. And
Awesome.
that long-term success always comes from trust. So if you're building that trust, you're
Yeah.
going to be able to get the transactions at the end of the day.
Awesome.
But your mindset really needs to be on relationships first. And then the other thing that kind of aligns with all of our businesses is consistency over intensity.
Mm.
That's a huge one. So instead of, you know, all too often you'll have somebody start a business and they're super excited. They get a few new clients. They're kind of going crazy a little. And then they stop because they're busy. So they stop the marketing side. They stop the relationship
Mm.
side. They stop the networking side. They stop the building relationship
Hmm.
area and because they're busy working on their business. And you have to be consistent in all the parts, right? You have to be
Yeah.
consistent in the working on and the working in your business.
Yeah.
And even if you are super crazy, like Octobers are always insane for me. I
Hmm.
will work my calendar so that I have a whole bunch of those kind of meetings in September and November. No, but I don't want anyone else to feel that except for me.
Mm.
So having that consistency over the high intensity, I'm going to do 100% right now, but then I'm going to do 0% tomorrow
Right.
is going to help any small business.
That's part of my story, actually. That's the lesson that I had to learn last year. And this is my BNI story where I joined BNI. I was in BNI for 9 months. My business grew. And then I took 5 months off from BNI because I was
Mhm.
busy.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
good. It was good. But then my client base started to go down. And so I joined BNI again because I was like, I need to feed the pipeline. I'm not feeding the pipeline. And my business grew again to a larger capacity than it did before because I had to learn
Hmm.
that lesson of I need to work not only in my business, but also on my business. And BNI has really helped me in that regard. So I'm very grateful for BNI for that.
Uh, it's incredible, and it does help people. It's not just about the referrals, right? You're
Yeah.
learning so much from every single person every week. I
Yeah.
tell a story that, when I used to go to my weekly meeting, and the financial advisor would give like a weekly tip
Hmm.
every single week. I used to do these money Sunday talks with my kids
Hmm.
about like real life money situations. And I would always take that tip that the financial advisor was talking about, and I'd bring that home and I would incorporate it into our Money Sunday talks. And it
Right.
was, I mean, the amount that we learned without even knowing it is
Right.
incredible. And that's where that trust comes from. That's where that trust starts, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. And being held accountable too. So BNI, because I want to report good things week to week, that subconsciously gets my brain to attach. How am I going to create these good
Yeah.
things to report? So it's been super, super helpful.
And
Um,
there's no business owner ever said, I want to be held accountable, right? Where we go into business because we don't want somebody else holding us accountable. We want to hold ourselves accountable, whatever that
right.
looks like to us.
Right.
So that having that piece, and you hear it from BNI members who have been around typically more than 2 years, right? That's
Yeah.
when they're really like, I needed this more than I thought I did. The
Yeah.
accountability piece is what has made my business. It's the
Right.
referrals are great, the relationships are great, but I have to be here. I have to show up. I have to put on my business owner hat at
Yeah.
least once a week, and it forces me to make sense of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a real cool thing to listen to.
Absolutely. I sort of liken it to I could go to business school or I could join BNI because I do not come from marketing. I do not come from sales. I do not come from business. I come from healthcare.
Yep.
And so
Very different.
yeah, it's been so helpful in that regard. Okay, so you had started to talk about the common denominators of success. So you had said so building relationships in all areas, in all arenas of your life. So not just end users, but also vendors, even people on the street. You had said before in a previous conversation the importance of communication, which is like similar to building relationships. Um, do you have any more common denominators of success? You said consistency over intensity, so
Yep.
showing up over and over again.
Yep.
Any more common denominators of success when owning six businesses?
Um, I mean, communication is a biggie. I have a
Mm,
big rule in my businesses and in my family. I don't care what happened. I don't care who screwed up. I don't care what the screw up even was. Let's fix it. But
mhm,
it my biggest rule is I don't want it to happen again.
mm,
How what do we need to change? What do we need to put into place? How do we make it so this doesn't happen again? And anyone who has even been part of any of our organizations has heard me say that. Like, I don't care who did
mhm,
it. I don't care what happened. I don't, is it fixed? Is the person taken care of? And now how do we make it so it doesn't happen again? Because, we all make mistakes. We're all
mm,
humans and we have to have grace with each other. There's always going to be that person. There's always going to be that situation. Something's going to get forgotten. Something's going to get messed up. There's going to be a spelling error, whatever it is, right? Um, how do we make it so it doesn't happen again? Like that,
mm,
that is the biggest question I think that has brought our business to another level is we don't ponder on the issues. We don't
mm,
ponder on, well, you did this 2 months ago and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't care as
mhm,
long as it's fixed now and it's not going to happen again.
mhm,
I think another big common denominator for the businesses is adaptability.
mm,
Most businesses saw that during COVID, but you see that all the time. It doesn't even happen just, during a world pandemic. It's there's so many other places. It's holidays, it's seasons, it's a slow time in your business and you don't know why. It's a busy time in your business and you don't know why.
mhm,
It's a new type of client that you've never experienced. You have to be able to go with the flow. You have
mm,
to be able to figure it out. Um, it's all too often we run into situations where people are quick to shut things down. And I'm not saying that you want to spread yourself too thin, but I am saying that you want to be able to adapt to the situation, to the holiday, to the season, to what's happening around you. And you have to
mhm,
be open to those suggestions sometimes,
mhm.
or you just have to be open to that market or to
Right.
that new thing happening. It depends on the business that you're talking about, but adaptability, I think, is a huge piece that has
Yeah.
kept us going. I mean, I own a newspaper. I own a paper newspaper. We print it every single week, and people are like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Why are you sorry? Like the newspaper is great,
Mhm,
and it does a phenomenal community service, and it doesn't it pays people's bills. Yeah, it's a
mhm,
livelihood for a number of people, and it makes a difference to the community and the small businesses, but you have to be adaptable to what's happening with it. And
mhm,
if I just sat there and said, it's a paper newspaper, everything's going online, we're going to go online, blah, blah, blah. nothing would have made us different. We would be out of business, like
Hmm.
every other newspaper that's out there. We're thriving. We're
Hmm.
excited.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that's what makes us different, right? Like we're just willing to adapt to the next challenge.
Right.
So
I'm
I
also
hope that answered your
hearing,
question.
yeah, yeah, and I'm also it sounds like you're touching on resiliency too. So like you had said that the second that there's financial insecurity or whatever, people just like throw in the towel or whatever. If there's uncertainty or uncertainty in other areas, people just throw in the towel. So I'm also hearing like fortitude and resiliency. And that's just so good to hear. And so I'm hearing consistency, adaptability, communication, building relationships, and having a little bit of grit, I think, to
A
withstand,
little.
yeah, yeah, withstand
I
some
mean,
of the tidal waves and stuff.
I I can share with you one of my biggest faults.
Okay.
And to this day, and I will get a lot of pushback on this. You're going to get a lot of pushback from me saying this probably. But as a business owner,
Yeah.
one of my biggest faults is I take things too personally.
Mm,
And everyone that I talk to, they're like, Kelly, you just gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. And it's my biggest fault. Like, I can't do it. I will be up all night long trying to
mm,
figure out how to make someone happy or why does that person feel that way? Where at the end of the day, I can't control how you feel
yeah.
necessarily, but I can try to fix it in my head. I can try to fix it. So
Right.
one of my biggest, I mean, if I have a reader of the newspaper who's not happy with the story, it kills me. Or if I have a member who isn't getting what they want out of BNI and they feel like it's because of something we've done or something that we don't do,
Mm,
it kills me. And I'm not good at letting that stuff go. I'm not good at just having a relationship end or
mm,
not good at having somebody be disappointed. And it is
mm,
truly my biggest fault. I
mhm,
will spend way too many hours on trying to figure out how to bring their experience to the next level. And
mhm,
sometimes you just can't. And
mhm.
sometimes it's those people who have that mindset of something's always wrong, right?
Yeah.
But but that is one of my biggest faults. When I hear somebody's unhappy or somebody's not
Yeah.
thrilled with me in some way or another, it kills me.
Mhm.
And over, every coach I have tells me all the time, Kelly, you got to get thicker skin. You got to get
Yeah.
thicker skin.
Mhm.
It's my biggest fault. My biggest
Yeah.
fault. I don't know if I've ever said that on like a public interview.
Well, yeah, yeah. But
There you go, Becky.
well, not one of us is perfect. Not one of us
Nope.
is perfect. Not even close.
Right.
So what would you say to a person who's newer to entrepreneurship and let's say they're struggling? What would you say to your previous self to give them some encouragement?
Get outside of your box,
Mm,
right? Like get away from being behind a computer screen or a phone. Get outside, meet people. You
mhm,
know, as entrepreneurs, we still like doing business with other business owners. We're people.
mhm,
So get out to a networking meeting, get out to a chamber event, walk around downtown, meet people, say hi to people just randomly. I would tell anyone who's struggling that you need to get in front of more people,
mhm,
whether that's BNI or not. Like, what? Just get out, get away from behind your computer because you can only do so much from behind a computer screen.
mm,
And as great as social media is, and the SEO of our websites and our marketing and all the digital stuff that we're doing, we can't forget that there's people on the other side of that screen.
yeah.
And I think if I were talking to my younger self, I would remind myself of that a little bit more. I think I would have wanted to do that a little sooner and be
Mhm,
more intentional about it.
mm,
Intentionality is something we talk a lot about in every part of our business, whether we're making decisions on our goals or where we're going or our marriage or whatever it is.
mhm,
Like we talk about intentionality and making decisions on purpose. not just letting
Yeah.
things happen. And getting out is one of those things that, even walking through the grocery store,
Hmm.
very early in my entrepreneurial life, I
Hmm.
would go through the grocery store with my husband, and he learned very quickly it was better to take four kids in the grocery store by himself than to bring his very talkative, super active wife.
Hmm.
Because if he brings me, we're in the grocery store for 4 hours. If he brings
Hmm.
four kids, it's in, out in 45 minutes.
Hmm.
And he would literally, for years now, like I don't know the last time was that I was in a grocery store because we're there forever.
Hmm.
So he still, to this day, will leave me in the office, let me catch up on some things or get ahead on some things and go grocery shopping, come
Right.
back and pick me up. And it's great,
Yes.
but you got to talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Visibility plus credibility is profitability. I
it
learned
is.
from BNI.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And if you're not visible,
Hmm. Right.
people like doing business with people they know, like, and trust, and
Hmm.
you can only get so much of that from behind a screen.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
if you have the
Um,
opportunity to get out there, get out there.
yes. Where do you see yourself going from here? 12
That's a
businesses?
really that's a really hard question.
Yeah.
So I have this disease that I'm not good at saying no. I'm getting better at
Mm,
saying no about certain things, but I'm not good at saying no to opportunities.
mm,
Um, so where do I see myself? I can honestly tell you, Becky, I have no idea. I can see myself still growing. I
mm-hmm,
am not to the point where I'm looking to slow down at all. We just opened up the Salt Spa, which is in the health and wellness world, which is a new, complete, realm for us. It's always been a passion and it's always been a thing in our families, but it's never been a profession.
mm-hmm,
So working on that with even the kids, they're looking to have their own locations. Like that's really exciting. I've been asked over and over recently if I'm going to franchise it.
mm-hmm,
Ah, I have no idea.
hmm,
I don't see myself slowing down right now. I do know that, and Niels and I have been talking about it a lot lately. We may consider expanding the consulting business a little bit more.
mm-hmm,
We don't know what that actually looks like because we do limit it very on purpose.
mm-hmm.
Um, but your guess is as good as mine.
Right. Continue to grow and enjoy life, it sounds like.
Continue to grow, enjoy life, and take
Yeah.
the challenges as they come.
Do you, is there anything in particular that you'd like to tell the audience? If there's one message that you can share, what would it be?
I'd say don't take it too serious. And what is it?
Mm,
It is everything. I
okay.
used to do that. I used to take thing, every single thing way too serious. And now I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, not that I don't take it serious now. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a different level or a different kind of seriosity, I call it. But you gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy what you're doing. If you're going in every single day and you're miserable and you hate your life and you hate your company and you're miserable, there's not a
Mm,
better word of saying that, you're
mm-hmm,
going to have a negative mindset. And
mm-hmm,
unfortunately, then you're going to sit there and your company is going to fail or your health is going to fail or
mm,
other pieces of your body are going to start to go the wrong way.
yeah.
And you're going to blame it on things that isn't really the fault of,
Mm,
right? So you're going to blame it on the economy. You're going to blame it on your clients. You're going to blame it on your employees when at the end of the
mm,
day, you're just not happy. And if you're not
mm,
happy doing what you're doing, it's going to affect every piece of your life. So you
mm-hmm,
got to love what you do. You got to take it day by day,
mm-hmm,
have goals, but only take them so serious. You got to be able to enjoy life.
mm-hmm. Enjoy the process, not the destination, is what I'm hearing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And there's a saying like live to work or work to live.
Mm-hmm,
And yeah, I think I do both.
mm-hmm,
I definitely love to work. I
Hmm.
am what I would call a workaholic,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Hmm.
I'm an entrepreneurial uh, everything. That's
Hmm.
what I do. That's what I know. Um, I probably work too much if I had to put hours on it per se.
Hmm.
But I also feel very balanced throughout the year.
Hmm.
I am able to take, a huge cruise with my entire family every single year. I'm able
Hmm.
to take a break every October with my entire family. We live at our camp in the summers and, you
Hmm.
know, I might be working from the dock
Hmm.
sometimes, but I'm sitting on the dock and I'm enjoying it.
Mm.
It's every day might not be perfect. You might not have 8 hours of work and 8 hours of family and 8 hours of sleep. Like it might not be so balanced,
Hmm.
but your year balances out. And if you're finding that it doesn't, there's typically a bigger problem.
Mm.
And often that, again, comes down to mindset. I'm a
Yeah.
true believer that so much of what we do can be
Yeah.
controlled by mindset and a little bit of extra communication.
Right. Right. Um, you had said before in a previous conversation that it's really, really important to consider who you surround yourself with. So, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. It's important who you surround yourself with. Are you
Yeah.
surrounding yourself with people who are excited and motivated and moving forward? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who hate their jobs and are maybe into substance abuse because that's how
Hmm.
they hide that they hate their jobs? Are you
Yeah.
surrounding yourself with people who work out and go for walks and get outside? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who hide behind a television or hide behind a computer or, sit on a couch all day and eat candy? Are you
Hmm.
surrounding yourself with people who, love doing things with their kids and their families and they value those relationships and those values? Or are you
Hmm.
surrounding yourself with people who will leave their family at home and go hang out at a bar or go do things by themselves and are lonely? Like who you surround yourself with, I feel like is two things. One, kind of who you become,
Mm.
but you also never want to be the smartest person in the room. So if
Hmm.
you're the smartest person in the room, you're hanging out with the wrong people
Hmm.
because you're never going to be challenged.
Hmm.
I love going to BNI meetings because I'm never the smartest person in the room, right? Like
Me either.
everybody, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. And everybody is, hopefully the smartest in their industry. And maybe we all have our little niche that we're like the smartest in, but we're learning from each other.
Hmm.
And it's the energy that comes from a BNI meeting and all of the different little niches people have and the excitement and the mindset, that's why I've become so involved in BNI. It's why we bought BNI Maine
Hmm.
years and years ago. But it's because of that similar mindset, that similar, surround yourself with the right people type
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
how you grow.
Hmm.
The whole philosophy behind BNI is givers gain, right? The more we give, the more we'll gain. The more we help other people get what they want, the more they're going to want to help us. And before I even knew what BNI was, like that was the story of my life. I never really worried about me. I always worried about the people around me. And
Hmm.
if everyone around me is happy, I'm happy, right? Like it's going to come back. And I
Hmm.
still live my life that way. Like I take care, and I do, I take care of everybody else around me, but I
Hmm.
always also make sure that I have that time to make sure I'm healthy and I'm doing
Mm.
what makes me happy. And, I'm doing a craft or I'm designing or I'm getting a little bit of that. I'm trying to work all the different sides of my brain so
Hmm.
that I'm not starting to deteriorate, right? Like the
Hmm.
more we challenge ourselves. So
Definitely.
surrounding yourself with the right person or the right people is so important. All the way down to who you choose that to be a life partner,
Hmm.
to who you employ, to who you network with, to who you party with, to who you go out to dinner with and drink with, whatever it is, right? Like
Yeah.
it's all the different pieces.
Yeah. 100%. Well, that's another quote, which is you become what is it? What is this quote? You
I
become
know that,
the average of your top five people you hang out with. That's a
yeah,
paraphrase.
something
Is
like
that
that.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But I
so
mean,
true.
it's true.
Yep,
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
so
that's
true.
why
And if
it's
you were
so
really,
quotable. Yeah.
and most people, if they're really honest with themselves, they'd be like, I need to change this up a little to get where I want to get in life.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah. So you touched upon your time, so alluding to maybe a little bit of self-care. So, do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because as we know, owning a business, well, in your case, six businesses, right? The truth is that sometimes you're working on a project and that does take up time. That's just the truth
Mhm.
of it. But how do you problem solve doing self-care so that you're not a crazy person and also so that you're healthy, right? You're managing your stress.
Um, it's not perfect all the time, and you got
Right.
to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I look for ways to multitask that.
Mhm.
So I'm strangely not sitting on it right now, but I'm typically sitting on a ball.
Nice.
So instead of sitting in a chair, I'm trying to sit on a ball. I have
Yeah.
a desk that the whole desk raises, the whole desk goes down. So I can stand at my desk.
Mhm.
I have this.
Is that a
I,
balance board?
it is, and I stand on
Nice.
that when I'm trying to work.
Nice.
Um, so as far, I mean, I am a huge believer in not drinking soda. I
Mhm.
stopped drinking soda over a decade ago. I think I've had
Mhm.
like three sodas in, I don't know, last 15 years maybe.
Mhm.
I'm a huge believer in certain things. I drink a lot of water. I try to limit caffeine.
Mhm.
I don't drink coffee. That's weird. I know. I'm like one of those weird people. I've never had a
You
cup
you
of
have
coffee in
you
my life.
naturally have a lot of energy, which is fantastic.
I do. I do. And but I'm a firm believer in certain like electrolyte things and
Hmm.
certain vitamins and minerals. So is it perfect all the time? No. Am I working out every single day? No. But do I try to listen to my watch every time it tells me to stand up? I
Hmm.
do. Do I
Hmm.
try to, park my car when Niels and I are going somewhere where we have to park the car? I
Hmm.
always get into the park like in one of the furthest spots possible without us
Hmm.
looking weird
Hmm.
because it's just those couple extra steps.
Yeah.
Or, if I'm printing something and I have four things to print, instead of printing all four at the same time, I'll print one, go get it. Print two, go get it. Like
Hmm.
I know that sounds dumb, but it's just the little things to keep your body moving. I try to stretch.
Yeah.
When I do have time, I love yoga. I try to do yoga. I try to practice yoga.
Hmm.
I will tell you, in a huge piece of my life, I didn't take sleep very seriously.
Hmm.
I was running on 5 and 6 hours of sleep on a regular basis, and I was fine, but I was starting to realize the brain fog, and I was starting to realize
Mm.
the other things that it was doing to even my appetite and my weight. So
Hmm.
I would say sleep is one of the most important things
Hmm.
that in your world that you can take seriously. We now float. So floating, that sensory deprivation is really great for you.
Hmm.
It brings sleep to a whole nother level. I won't necessarily, this isn't a commercial for the salt spa, but it's really, if you haven't looked at floating, I highly recommend it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, so sometimes our brains get so situated on having to be perfect and having to
Mm.
have that work-life balance perfect and making sure that if you're healthy, you have to be 100% healthy. Like if you can't have a cheat day. No, you can have a cheat day because you
Yeah.
still have to fulfill your world.
Yeah.
I have one vice, and it's something most people have never heard of. I was actually at a BNI meeting and telling some people this the other day, and they were like, I've never even heard of that. I have no idea what it is. But I have one vice, and my vice is astronaut ice cream. Freeze
Ooh.
dry. Yep, freeze dried ice cream. My husband buys it for me in bulk.
Hmm.
It's my one vice. Like I
Hmm.
will absolutely love my astronaut ice cream. In my head, it's frozen and dry. It's freeze dried, so it's not as bad for me. I'm kidding, it is, but um yeah, everybody has to have that one vice, or that everybody has to have that one thing. It just
Yeah.
you don't want to go to the extreme on it,
Yeah.
right? So
100%.
you just
Yeah.
have to make good decisions, and you don't have to, you have the ability to make those decisions. And
Hmm.
that's that self-accountability.
Hmm.
Some of us need someone else to tell us. We've all like we all coaches are fantastic because they're looking at your life from a different perspective. So
Hmm.
whether it's a business coach, a health coach, a
Hmm.
mindset coach, whatever it is, think there's a huge value in coaches.
Hmm.
I am a coach, so like obviously,
Hmm.
but there's a massive piece of that. And I think every coach would agree with me that you need to take self-accountability for your
Hmm.
life. Like you
Hmm.
need to take yourself seriously, or how do you expect anyone else to take you seriously? And
Right.
you can tell me all day long you want to be healthy, but if I
Yeah.
had a hidden video camera in your house and you're sitting on the couch eating potato chips and watching movies 5 hours a day, like, do you
Right.
really want to be healthy, or are you just telling me you want to be healthy because
Right.
magically it's going to happen? It's the same thing with business. Like so many people say they want success and they want to grow a business and they're willing to do the things that it takes to grow a business, but then they spend 7 hours
Right.
going through Facebook, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
It's
Like
true.
that's not going
Yep.
to help your business. So, it's not perfect. And if
Hmm.
anyone ever does tell you they're perfect, like I would question that
Yeah.
because in today's world and in today's environment of the fast pace that we all go, whether we choose to be on it or not, it's there.
Hmm.
It's nearly impossible to have that perfect work-life balance.
Hmm.
And what that means to every person is also a little different.
Hmm.
But overall, you have to have some sort of balance. If you're not taking care of yourself, nobody else is going to.
Hmm.
And if you're not taking care of you, how are you going to take care of everything else?
Right. Right.
So,
So many of my clients, though, they don't understand that. They don't. Like at the start, they want to take care of everyone else except themselves.
yeah.
And they do it to a point where they can't function anymore, or they're not effective anymore. But they see the self-care as selfish. I am selfish if I do the self-care. So, yes, I mean, everything that you said, very much in alignment with, in terms of it's not going to look perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It's just keep on trying. That's the goal, is you keep on going for it, and eventually it does get better. And then integrating it into your life, that's really, really, that's the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce, is making it work in your life. Not everybody wants to travel to the gym and spend an hour at the gym and then travel back from the gym and take the shower at the gym and visit at the gym. Like, but if that works for you though, then that's wonderful.
Mhm. And if
So
that's what you
whatever
need, that's
works.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever work. In the end, what I'm hearing is figure out what works for you and just do what works for you. Stay in
Yep.
alignment with what works for you in all
Yep.
aspects of life. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, it's a pleasure to learn from you. It's a pleasure to get to know you. And I'm so glad that you came on for the interview, and thanks for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. I love the questions. I shared some secrets. I don't have many secrets in my life. I'm a pretty transparent person. So when I am able to come up with something I haven't been able to say publicly, it's kind of fun. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. But every single one of us, like no one is perfect.
Nope.
Everyone has issues that they're working on and things like that. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Becky.